What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing what are the things to do inside Lackland Air Force Base and around it. But before we get into that, let's cover the basics. My name is Michael Emden and I'm an airman in the United States Air Force. I upload a video every Monday, so if you like military and or Air Force content, definitely hit the subscribe button below and make sure you turn the notification bell to on so you know when I upload a brand new video. Let's go. So of course, because of the current predicament, you may not be able to indulge in all of these things, but at least you now have a very long list of things you may or may not be able to go to and at least get takeout. And or you can walk past the front door. So I apologize for that situation and that unpleasant timing. But for the rest of you who are going to basic training during normal days, I hope you do, of course, peruse through this video a couple times and make a top list for yourself. So let's start off with the first, destination and what might be in it. And that is the Express BX, which means base exchange or base shopette, you may want to call it, which is exactly across the street from Alcatraz. Inside, you're going to find a Burger King, a Starbucks, a Baskin Robbins, and also a Subway. Additionally, there's a small store inside about the size of one of those shops you see in like an airport terminal. You know, the kind that sell magazines and often have like a Dunkin' Donuts inside? Well, there's one of those type of stores in the Express Base Exchange, and so you can buy snacks during your base liberties and or, I don't know, magazines, toenail clippers, deodorant, face wash. So that is often, especially if you're in Alcatraz, that is often where you'll go to get new toiletries and if you just want to waste some time and get some fries from Burger King. Also, other than the small airport-like store inside this exchange, there also is a spiritware store. There's spiritware on sale in the big shop or shopette. By spiritware, I do mean hats and gloves that all say Air Force or Marines and etc. But there also is a specific store kind of across the hallway from the larger store where you can get even more, I don't know, specific spiritware. And I assume that is a shirt that says, "My son's in the Air Force." So for all the moms out there, especially the moms that are visiting their children during graduation weekend, that's the place to buy the shirt that often is not desired by the child for their parents to be wearing. I'm just putting it out there. Let's move on. Next, we have the small base exchange. Now again, this is not the Express base exchange, which is tiny. Or you could call that the Alcatraz BX or base exchange. This is called the small BX or small base exchange, and it's slightly bigger than the Alcatraz BX. So what's in the small BX and where is it? Well, fun fact, if you watched my previous video, the small BX is over the bridge. And I say over the bridge because there's really only one bridge that you go over regularly while in basic training, and you just really note it as a marker of distance. So if you go over said bridge, you will eventually arrive at the small BX. Inside the small BX, there are a couple of restaurants. And of course, currently, all of them are to go, meaning you must take your food and leave. But one day in the future, hello future people, one day in the future you will of course get to sit down and enjoy your food during your base liberties with your peers from your flight. Inside this base exchange, it includes Domino's, a Popeyes, woof, love that, a Subway, another Starbucks, and also a Baskin Robbins and another Burger King. So you definitely have your fill of options, and so definitely take advantage of this during your base liberties. But do remember that marching to the small BX over the bridge is kind of a hike. So manage your time accordingly. When we only had a 2-hour base liberty and I and some peers wanted to, make the hike, apologies, my peers and I, wanted to make the hike, the timeline usually would go, 30-minute hike enjoy yourself for about an hour and 30-minute hike back, which totally worked for me. But if you are scared that you are not able to finish a meal and really relax in an hour, then maybe during a 2-hour Base Liberty, do not go to the small BX over the bridge. Okay. Well, also within the small BX, there is a barber shop and salon in case you need to get something done. And also there's a store called Tactical Gear. And I really love the tactical gear stores that you see across a multitude of bases in the United States Air Force, because it's a great place to get accessories for your uniform. So whether that be kind of tactical gloves and or just extreme winter gloves and or just, I don't know, things like that you can put on your patches that you can put on your OCPs. Ooh, military talk. It's just a great place to find those kind of things that you would only find on a base. And so definitely check out your tactical gear store if you need new boots. And for all of my sneakerheads out there, if you're trying to bring that vibe into your military lifestyle, which I don't necessarily condone for you and your budget, if you so choose, they often will have different boots branded by different companies. So you can find the Nike boot that is, within regulations for our uniform and others. So feel free to enjoy your tactical gear store if you so choose. And finally, there also is a Walgreens CVS size store or Base Exchange. I don't know if the store is called the Exchange or if it's just called a store. I don't know. But within the small BX is a more Walgreens CVS size store as compared to the small airport little shopette size store in Alcatraz BX, which of course is closer to my Alcatraz folks. So, choose your battle. Long walk in big BX or stay in your neighborhood and enjoy your small, not sad, but limited selection. Now let's talk about what is in the main BX. Now, of course, I'm focusing in on the BXs because that's the primary places you're going to go during Base Liberties when you're just trying to buy some quick things, get some food, and hang out with friends. After the main BX, we will discuss some things around base that you could attempt to go to during a Base Liberty, but you'd really be pushing it. Like, you'd be hoofing it. So I don't know if I recommend going to the next list. But let's focus on what is in the main BX for all of Lackland Air Force Base. And I say main BX because that means all of the permanent party do frequent the main BX and the commissary attached to it. And a commissary is a grocery store. So think of it like a Kroger's, a Myers, or whatever the grocery stores are called where you are from. So within the main BX in regards to food, you have Arby's, Charlie's, what else? Qdoba? Yeah, Qdoba. You have an Asian restaurant called, I think, Manchu Wok. And then additionally, you have like some kind of pizza by the slice joint. If you want 2 or 3 pieces of slices of pizza, that's where you go. Additionally, you have another Starbucks and another Subway because, I don't know, they must have an agreement with the BXs across all Air Force bases, and I'm glad they do. So those are the food options within the main BX. And then in regards to non-food options, if you're really trying to spend some coin during your 2-hour break, your options include a barbershop and salon and a place to get your eyebrows threaded, if that's your thing. And then additionally, there's a GameStop, a GNC. Also, there is like a movie theater that is attached. Probably closed right now, but one day it may be open. Additionally, there is a big, huge store, and I'm going to compare the size of this store to like a Walmart neighborhood market. So not a supercenter, but like a Walmart neighborhood market. So it's big, like you can buy bicycles, and that in my brain is how you gauge if it's a real store. There are bicycles for sale on multiple racks. So it is that size of a store, so you really can get anything you need. And don't worry, for all of my people saying, how long does it take to walk to the main BX? There are buses. You take buses. You don't walk to this BX. It will take an hour and 10 minutes most likely to get there. Think about it. And then finally, like I said, there's a commissary, which is separate from the huge store. That is a grocery store. And so that kind of sums up all of the things kind of thrown and packed into the main BX of Lackland Air Force Base. And I hope some of the things interest you. Now let's talk about the things that are not necessarily food related, but are awesome things to do whether you have a lot of free time for some crazy reason during basic military training, and or if your technical training school is actually at Lackland Air Force Base, you're going to get to indulge in these things. First is the Skylark Bowling Alley, which is a really fun time, and it is a great thing to go to during your, whether it be, I think it's your Base Liberty, but the one with family during graduation weekend, when things open up. The disclaimer that should be throughout the video, when things open up. But you will march past it frequently. Next, we have the Refuge, which is a center, like kind of a hangout, chill, play video games and arcade games spot that is hosted by the either Christian and or all of the religious chaplains. But I believe it's the Christian chaplain and his team that host the Refuge. And it's very weird to walk to just because the location, it's kind of hidden. And if you don't know where you're going, you're gonna be like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. That's kind of where it is. So just follow directions and be confident, or go with someone who has been there before. That's my advice. Next, we have the Lackland Religious Activity Center, which is just a formal name for a church, except that this activity center is used by a variety of religions and denominations. And so that is where every Sunday, both the Catholic and Protestant services are held. And of course, a number of other religions use the complex. After that, there is the, what is it called? It's like the Airman Heritage Training Complex, or pretty much just the Airman Heritage Museum. And it's a really small museum that is pretty far from where like BMTers will stay, but it's a really great place to check out during graduation weekend. Just look it up on your map or via Google Earth. And it's just a small little museum that shows what BMT has been like since its inception all the way through today. So you will see some bunk beds that look very similar and thus they've been there a while. And that's more for people in Alcatraz. Disney, you will not see bunk beds that look like yours in this museum, okay? This will be new to you. So that is the Airman Heritage Museum. And then another thing worth checking out, if you can find it, is the Gateway Club, which has some nice foods available. Once again, this is really great during graduation weekend. Has some nice foods. It's kind of a pretty building, and in the back there's like a sports bar vibe, you know, with pool available, and of course ESPN, ESPN2 will be on the TV screens. And so if your family can look it up on your phones and or Google Earth and find your way there, one, you are allowed to go in. It does look a little intimidating because it is a private club, but it's not really. During this day, it's a restaurant. And of course, also in the back, it's just a nice place to spend, let's say 2 hours, just talking, enjoying the food, and just kind of enjoying the graduation weekend. And lastly, we have the Warhawk Fitness Center. And this is not relevant for graduation weekend, but for all of my gym heads out there, it is a really, really nice gym. And so if you are going to be at Lackland Air Force Base for your technical training school, and it's not too far, like you just really like really nice gyms, then the Warhawk Fitness Center is the nicest gym on base, and so you may want to make the trek and or just take the bus there to work out, because you'll probably find more equipment, more machines, and a better atmosphere to work out in. So, something to consider. The last topic I want to discuss is what you should do with your family during Town Hall Pass. And that is when you are allowed to leave Lackland Air Force Base with your family and friends and literally just enjoy the city that you have not probably seen yet because you've been locked on base. So, the first thing that I recommend that I really enjoyed with my family and friends includes the Riverwalk. And it's very famous in San Antonio, so you can easily Google it. but it was a really, really, really beautiful way to spend an hour and a half just walking the full thing and meandering upon a restaurant that you know your entire crew decides on and actually can get a vote of approval from everyone. And it's just one of the most iconic things that makes San Antonio, San Antonio. So please enjoy. After that, check out the San Antonio Zoo. I found it really, really nice. And finally, if you guys are all in agreement and you all like a really, really fun and wild time, definitely take the 20-mile trip out to Six Flags Fiesta, which is a huge amusement park. That would be so cool. We did not get to do it, but I think it'd be a great way to spend your town hall pass on Saturday and or Sunday if you get a double town hall pass. The main thing to remember, everyone, is eventually everything will be opening up and you will get to indulge in all of these things, either be with your peers and or your family and friends when they're able to visit you during graduation weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, or at least will find it useful in the future. Hello, future people. But anywho, if you did, definitely drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you want to see a little bit more of this face, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @MichaelAinman_. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next Monday.